Hey guys, Mr. Sugarwater here. We're actually going to do something a little bit different today and actually do a film review. Fun! So it's been a while since my first video where I told you guys that I was going to be doing film reviews and film responses and all sorts of stuff like that, and it's kind of funny because this is my first film review and it's been 8 months. So the film we're going to do today is called Dispatch, 2010. The director is Stephen Sprung and the writers are Stephen Sprung as well as Michael Bershad. Michael Bershad is also the main character, Nick. And what the movie is about is the manager of this limousine company named Nick, just kind of how the night shapes him as a person as it goes along, because he starts out as this manager of this limousine company. Everyone's like, hey boss, everyone loves him, and just kind of as the night goes on, you find out more about him and why he's there, how events have kind of shaped this person that he's become. So first of all, let me tell you guys, I hate dramas. I've never really liked them. Sometimes I'll watch them. Benjamin Button was good. I know that's really recent, and I know there's a lot better dramas out there, but it takes a lot for me to really get interested. I'm more of like action, horror, comedy, mostly horror. I'm just not a big fan of drama films, and especially drama films where the entire movie is set in one spot. The entire movie is done in the office of the limousine company, Utopia, and we're just there with Nick. We're just like audience to kind of like, we go through the same thing he's kind of going through. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's very rare for me to actually enjoy a drama because of these reasons, and I absolutely loved this movie. So, Dispatch, let's get started. Okay, so some good things. Like I mentioned, the entire movie was done in the office, and it's very rare for a movie to be able to film in one spot and for it to actually be enjoyed. The entire thing is just in the office. He never really goes outside. Nick never goes outside. You never really watch any of the drivers. They do their pickups or anything, and you just see everything through phone calls. It's just a series of phone calls and walkie-talkie, and the people that he interacts with inside the office. Just the way the film sets up, you can just kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. When I walked into this movie, I had no idea what it was about. I just knew it was called Dispatch, and I thought it was something completely different than what I read about. It really surprised me because hardly do I ever not know anything about a film when I go into it, and I got into it and I was really interested. He walks in there and everyone seems to love this guy, but there's just something off. And then he, receives a package from his wife, and it just kind of starts to go from there into a series of events that kind of affect this guy, mostly negatively. I'll let you watch that to figure it out. It had actors like Michael Bershad and Bruce Bone. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Bruce Bone played Harry, which was the guy that worked in the office with Nick throughout this entire night, and he was just a great supporting actor. He added to the film in a way that, it didn't take away. He didn't distract from Nick. He didn't, take over or take you out of the film. He just kind of kept it going, which was, I felt good with that. Another one was Blake Robbins, who plays Killer in the movie. Does a wonderful job. He has a more pivotal role in the film that if you see, you'll understand. But the way that he kind of brings it up, and just the way the director filmed him, his scenes, and ultimately with the writing, had his path go in an interesting direction. Everyone did a really good job, and it really added to the story, everyone's role, and just nothing was really left out. A thing that I really liked about the movie was how Stephen Sprung made the audience feel the same way that Nick was feeling throughout the film. So as the film progresses and things start to get a little bit worse, we start to feel the claustrophobia that Nick feels, and whenever he's in his office, it's kind of like a cage, because wired, little fencing going on, and he's hardly ever out of there, and it's kind of interesting how he shuts himself off from everyone else, and that's one of his issues, is just kind of the way he gives up on everything and just kind of locks himself, inside this box. And, we feel the claustrophobia, the frustration. The film does a really good job of making us feel that way, because we're in there just with Nick, just like Nick is, and we only hear about the things happening with the drivers as he is. And, we feel that same kind of suspense and worry and what the hell is going on that he does throughout the movie, because, we never leave. Now, I know I said a lot of good things about this movie, and I will go ahead and talk about the bad things, but I'm warning you now, there really isn't much to complain about. Actually, the only part that detracted was Nick sometimes talks to his wife on the phone, and, you know, they're having problems. There were a couple of moments that he's talking to her, and the lines felt a little rushed, just like a little forced. If anyone else like has seen the film and like knows what I'm talking about, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm the only one, but it's just like some things he said, I was like, you know, really? I don't know. That just seems a little forced, like as if he was reading the lines. And that was only like 1 or 2 parts. It did help to have the wife talking scenes in there, because that was very important to how the movie ends. Maybe if they had toned down some of the conversation, it would have been perfect. But I mean, other than that, there really wasn't anything else to complain about. The film is fantastic. So I know this was a long review, and I really enjoyed talking about it. I mean, I could talk for a very long time about it, and I want to talk to people about it that actually have seen the movie, because there's so many things that you can't really discuss without giving away important plot points that, you know, you just can't mention in a film review or just like write about without like going into it further. So I recommend seeing the movie. Right now the company is looking for distribution, so it should be on DVD soon. I will go ahead and include a link below to the Facebook page for Dispatch. If I had to rate this film, I would give it a 9 out of 10, just because most of it was fantastic. You know, some of the dialogue did take away from the film, but other than that, I mean, I recommend seeing it. I hate dramas, and I loved this movie. So go see Dispatch, and coming out on DVD soon, and you guys have a great day. Yay!